I would like to find the person who started the rumor that you need a literary agent in order to be a successful author. Like, no, really, I just want to just have a little chit chat with them, because who started this rumor? There is absolutely no truth to it whatsoever. Successful author, I mean that you've got your book in most bookstores around the world, like the major ones like Waterstones, Barnes and Noble, maybe even Amazon, and even a few smaller indie bookstores. For example, this is my debut novel. It's coming out September 2nd, and you can find this book everywhere. It's in all of the bookstores that I've mentioned, and if you ask your local bookstore, they're going to be able to get it for you. You probably would have guessed by now that I did not have a literary agent, and I do not like the aspect of literary agents because a lot of people think that you really need them in order to be successful, which is such a big lie, because I can prove to you and I can tell you exactly how the industry works now that I've actually gone into it, and how it's a really rigged industry. And in fact, there are so many different routes that an author can take in order to be successful. The most important thing is to go directly to a publisher that works with a distributor who can get your book into other bookstores. So now, publishers like HarperCollins or Penguin or, all of these big names, and a few other smaller indie ones, they don't directly go to a bookstore and ask them to buy their book. That's not how it works. There's a distributor in the middle who helps bookstores get books from these major publishers and from small publishers. What you need to do is find a publisher that can get you a distributor who gets your book on the bookshelves of most major bookstores. Now in the UK, there's two major ones. I'm going to link them down below if you want to know more about them. You can actually look them up in whatever country that you're based in. You can look up publishers that work with independent authors without an agent who have contracts with major distributors in your country, which means that your book will be on the bookshelves of most bookstores in the world. You can look up my debut novel, The Long and Winding Road by Faizah Muhammad. I've got a second book that's coming out in December. Normally, if I would be going through the traditional publishing route where I've got an agent, I wouldn't be able to publish until 2 or 3 years later. The process is incredibly long. And unfortunately, with the way that the industry is today, no one cares about literary fiction. If you go to agents, most of them have really niche expectations of what they want to take on, and usually these projects are what they find marketable. And I find it a bit of a disrespect towards the literature world in general, because if it doesn't sell, meaning it's not spicy or a book talk romance that people can talk about, agents don't really care about it. Your writing can be incredible, your idea can be incredible, they're not going to give you a deal that they don't think is marketable. Luckily, in the world that we live in, doing your own marketing is actually really easy. If you've got a platform like TikTok or Instagram, it's pretty easy to convince people to like your book. And there's a lot of different techniques of doing this. You need to find your right audience. And of course, the build-up can take time, which is why I would recommend that if you go through a publisher that works independently with a major distributor, you can set your own dates, you can set your own kind of planner with them. You don't need to release it when they tell you to, and if you want time to build up an audience and to get people to know more about you, then I definitely recommend that you set this for like 3 or 4 months from when you've decided that you want to publish, and this can help you market your book on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, and just gain a bigger audience. Look at the royalties that you would get through traditional publishing. It seems like a really big scam. I mean, if you go through independent publishers and the important bit is the distributor, not the independent publisher. You can be a self-published author and still get your book on a big store shelf because you're going through the right distributors. And none of the agents will actually help you do this. They already have the system built up. It's just knowing about it and how it works that will help you get your book over there. And you can maintain your rights. You can do whatever you want. My book is being developed for the big screen from next year, and I get to decide how this is done. No one else can come and tell me that actually we want to change this about your story because it doesn't work for us. That's just not going to happen to my book, because I own my IP rights, and I own most of the royalties. I think up to 70% with independent publishers. I get to keep all the money and effort that I've put into making this book. No one else gets to take that. I would honestly love to make more videos about this topic, because now that I'm an author and I've actually published a book and I've seen what it takes to get onto like a major store bookshelf, or even be able to promote your own book online, I would love to help other authors that are trying to get into a similar position. Yes, you can get your book on the Barnes and Noble shelf, you can get it to Waterstones, you can get it wherever you want and be considered a respected author. You do not need a literary agent to get you there.